Hello and welcome. Silrace here with World of Warcraft. And with WoW Classic release nearing on us, I decided to visit this place. Molten Core. It has been such a long time. It has been such a long time. I'm not one of those people who usually runs old raids and dungeons or whatnot for fun. I haven't been here in ages, to say the least. I am even doing this with a character who actually was created during Vanilla World of Warcraft. I leveled this character at the end of Vanilla, basically to be ready for Burning Crusade. Did no actual raiding with this character in Vanilla and so forth, but she was made during Vanilla. So there is that. And here I am visiting Molten Core with her right now. So there is that. I may have visited Molten Core before with her, like once or twice. I may have. I am not sure. If I have, it has certainly been a long bloody time. Now, of course, can't really see much of any how would I call that, much of any actual mechanics from encounters when I'm coming here on a level 110 character, because yes, this is level 110 character. I have never actually leveled her since Legion, so not a max level character as in max level character when it comes to current content. One point in time she was indeed max level character when it came to current level content, but that has been a long time ago now. Certainly been a long time ago now. However, it's kind of nice to make a revisit. I remember these. Like, you would stack up on them with warlocks doing Hellfire and Rain of Fire, and mages doing blizzard casting on them, and so on. Like, it is kind of funny to go back here and just like look at all the things which is like, hey, I remember how this was done because I have been here quite a number of times way back when. Like, it took us a while to clear Molten Core with the considering how much of a casual guild when it came to raiding I was in, because my main interest was battlegrounds. Like, I did those mostly. Less raiding, more battlegrounds for me. Ah, Lucifron, hello, Lucifron. And also, of course, Core Hound packs where you had to basically kill them in rather at the basically the same time or they heated each other up and came at you again. And this music. This is the music which could like listen to forever. The one track. Yeah, hello, Core Hounds. The one track from the World of Warcraft soundtrack, which I forever am in love with. Oh, Lucifron, hi. If I kill your protector first, will you do something fun? Oh yeah. Lots of stuff. And Magmadar. The crazy thing is that you do not need to douse these anymore. That was changed. Previously, these runes needed to be doused separately with the bosses as well. Now they just get doused after when the boss dies. At least that's my recollection. Like you needed to actually douse them separately on the by themselves. Oh, I may remember that wrong. It has certainly been a long bloody time since I was doing Molten Core as a current tier content, but I did. Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, Zul'Gurub, Angirage. Like, I have raided all of those, even, well, to a more or less extent, many of them. Like, Molten Core, and such. Like, I don't wanna really go into the discussions of like guilds I was in and all of that, because it's not really relevant anymore. It's just memories in my head now, where like who I did what with, and no, doesn't really matter. What matters right now is that we are getting back very soon. We are getting back Molten Core as current era content, current relevant content, instead of being like this where I just walk in and press a button and everything dies. Now, I will be outright honest with my opinion and say that Molten Core is not exactly a difficult raid encounter. There is so much information available for the encounters and so on that various raid groups can easily research of like how to do any and all fights even before Classic comes out. Not to mention that most of these encounters well, they have like one, maybe two actual like mechanics in them. Like Gehennas with the curse. Let's see if we can get Gehennas to curse me. There we go. This curse, healing effect reduced by 75%. This was like, you need mages and druids in your raid to remove this curse. And that was that and the hellfire, which you see here, were basically the mechanics of Gehennas, in all honesty. Like, other than that, Gehennas was just, well, tank it and shoot it. It is not like the actual mechanics wise. There is not that many bosses here with let's say, how would I call them, very complex mechanics. And I mean, being the first raid ever in World of Warcraft, I mean, nothing wrong with that. They have since then improved on the mechanics part a lot. Later raids and so on have a whole lot more complex mechanics than is available here. Yet, for many of us, I would say Molten Core still holds a special place. Me, I was doing raiding in EverQuest way before I moved on to World of Warcraft, when World of Warcraft came out. So to me this was not the first MMORPG raid. However, it was the first the raid in World of Warcraft still. So there is that. Oh, hello Gar. Gar, the place where you wanted a whole lot of warlocks and off-tanks for to deal with all of those ads. Warlocks to banish them because they are elementals, or off-tanks to tank them. And that's that and the anti-magic poles. Those are basically the mechanics of Gar. So there is that. Core hounds. I still can't believe that you can now tame core hounds. Like, when they were the first time saw those things, they were amazing. Like, core hound is still, I think, by far my favorite. Like in MMORPGs, in games like this, my favorite like a dog, dog style of a like creature, like more like proper monster, because it takes the whole monstrous nature of a of an elemental beast and transforms it into a beast of like, look at that, like it's fire with two heads and, you know, the whole chain collar thing and armor, spiky armors and everything else. Alright, now these two bosses. Baron Geddon, whom you used to almost always pulled, at least we did. We've always fought Baron Geddon in such a fashion that we would pull Baron Geddon into the previous cave through here and fought him in the area where Gar was. That's how we fought Geddon. So they could pull and fight Geddon in this open area without, you know, having to clear any of the packs where he... well, one of the packs. And would fight Baron Geddon here in this large open area. So that would have easy time, or rather easier time, I guess, to avoid the living bomb, which is basically the one of the two mechanics of Geddon. One being the living bomb, which requires you to run away from the rest of your team, so they don't all die to the explosion when it bomb goes off. And the other one being the hellfire, which he does around himself. And at least we used to use a hunter pet for the pull, where a hunter would stand here, send a pet into the Geddon to die, the pet would die, while the hunter would then run back there when the moment the pet died, so that the hunter would be safe there, and we would have a tank at the other end of the tunnel to try and grab aggro from the Geddon. The hunter pet death being so that the there would be no actual threat on the hunter itself, so the tank would have an easy time with that. Hello, Geddon. And then, of course, after Geddon is dead, basically just clear the few packs and you can fight Shazra right here. So there is that. And this guy, I will be honest, I don't even remember what are the mechanics of this guy, because he is like, he always felt so simple that I was like, didn't pay much attention to the mechanics. Then again, I did my Molten Core rating on a priest, so all I did was heal, basically, heal and dispel. And watch for some other mechanics. Such as if I got slammed by a living bomb by the Geddon. Hello, Fire Lord. And these packs, man. The amount of effort which went occasionally to clearing certain packs and so on. It's kind of staggering. I really like that. It very much reminded me of some raid content from EverQuest, like original Plane of Fear, or to an extent original Plane of Air, before Planes of Power expansion came out and those were all changed, but like some of the packs felt very similar. Then again, somebody may take affront to this if I say it, but World of Warcraft, when it came out, was basically EverQuest 2.0. It took a lot of the things EverQuest did and simply improved those to make them so much better, and obviously give the ability to actually solo level from 1 to 60, which was, aside of Necromancer and possibly a Druid, basically impossible in EverQuest. Sulfuron, where you had to kill the ads before dealing with the boss, because the ads heal. That was his mechanic of things. Right now, he's just, well... Click Arcane Explosion and watch him blow up. But still, very, very, very fun fights here. At least to me, I find them, or rather found them fun. And I will say that I never minded this sort of, let's call it a little bit of monotonous area that is Molten Core. Like, if you look at this is just a cave where basically everything looks kind of the same. You have constantly the same kind of monsters, like fire and earth elementals and all of that. Like, I don't personally really mind that. I kind of like the idea that you have like very dungeons and raid instances and so on, which are, you know, all of them have their own separate, like, very, very individual theme. And here the very individual theme is earth and fire, right? I quite like that, like, play to the theme and make it be, instead of like always mixing all the themes together to try and, you know, make everything have multiple different types. The one thing I admit that I did not like about Molten Core was the absolute necessity for fire resistance, because for certain cases you would use worse gear than you already had just because it had fire resistance. They did that the same with nature resistance in a future raid, which came after this one, and so on. And slowly they have thankfully worked away from that. I mean, you look at shadow resistance needs in Naxxramas and so on. And hello, Golmag. Golmag the Incinerator. Sulfur ingot. Oh yeah, I mean, if this was WoW Classic, somebody would be really, really happy. Wow. Alright. Somebody would be really, really happy about that. So yeah, then we have one more fight. The fight I personally probably enjoyed the most when it comes to Molten Core. Not necessarily because of the fight mechanics and all of that, but because of how the fight actually ends. Like, I really loved the way they made Executus encounter from the point of view of how this ending goes. And I wonder if I can actually show that here without, you know... No, I don't, I mean, not really in all of that fashion, but... oh, and don't stand on that, it's bad for your health. Anyways, you need to, again, healers and elites, you need to deal with all of the ads before you can deal with before basically fighting Majordomo Executors, because Flamewaker healers do heal. And all of these are humanoids, so it's not like you can use Warlocks again to, you know, banish half of them or something. So there is that. Something to keep in mind. And immune to polymorph. So there is that as well. But I love this. Oh, cool. Can kind of show it off. I really like this, where he is like, no.
I submit. Brashly, you have come to wrest the secrets of the living flame. You will soon regret the recklessness of your quest. I go now to summon the Lord whose house this is. Should you seek an audience with him, your paltry lives will surely be forfeit. Nevertheless, seek out his lair if you dare.
That, to me, is amazing. Like, that is so well done. Basically, everything else here is, well, for the most part, if you look at it, everything else here is some kind of an elemental or beast or something along those lines, which don't necessarily have you know, the mental capacity to do something like this, where it's like, hey, I am going to try and save my own life, and you know, make you fight my boss, essentially. Like this is the sort of a gameplay which you add in here, which is subtle, but it adds so much character to the whole instance and to that particular boss. Because you get to kill everything else here, but there is that one boss you don't get to kill yourself because he submits to your will. Because that's basically what he was like. No, 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 no. I don't wanna die. Please don't kill me. I will get you to the you know, boss guy. I will let you pass. Let's use that wording, shall we? And I really like that. All right, let's try and make our way to him, to the final enemy here. Now, of course, if you look at the bottom right, I do have the minimap open for the whole raid. Of course, you don't have this in WoW Classic. You do not get zone map, which shows you the location of every boss on the damn thing. Molten Core is not all that complex of an instance, but I still remember people getting lost here. So, well, not everybody navigates the same way, is as good at navigation as others, so very understandable. Oh man, I remember the lava swimming. Like trying to time your jumps so that you were, every time the lava would tick for damage, you would actually not be in the lava, but you would be in the air jumping off out of it. The lengths people went to try and get to the dark iron ore veins littered around this instance is amusing to remember. Mighty amusing. I'm just gonna walk the long way around. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk the long way around just because. Alright, what was that lag? Just because, like, this winding path to the middle of the place is kind of funny. I'll put it that way. It is kind of funny. And the positioning for this final fight, like who is where and where the tank stands and all of that, like so many iterations, so much of like testing with these walls here and all of that. Man, it was fun. It was fun. Raiding is always, to me, has always been about figuring out the mechanics. And once, like, this is how I personally am. Like, once it's on the farm, I don't exactly enjoy it anymore. I like it when it is difficult, when it's, you know, mechanics we need to learn or I need to still be aware of and so on. Whereas I do not enjoy it when it's like, okay, we have done this enough times that it like goes without, you know, anybody even thinking of it, and we just do it because easy loot. That, to me, it gets boring then. I'm actually gonna go on this side here. Right here. Welcome, Ragnaros.
Behold Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. He who was ancient when this world was young. Bow before him, mortals. Bow before your end too soon. You have awakened me too soon, Executus. What is the meaning of this intrusion?
These mortal infidels, my lord. We have invaded your sanctum and seek to steal your secrets.
You allowed these insects to run rampant through the hallowed core. Now you lead them to my very lair? You have failed me, Executus. Justice shall be met indeed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boldly you sought the power of Ragnaros. Now you shall see it firsthand.
Now, I kind of always wish that he would have killed Executus with his hammer instead of casting that little, you know, like it looks like he's dropping a meatball on Executus. Let's just put it that way. It should have swung this massive hammer. And I have to say, I'm also a little saddened that they resurrect Ragnaros in Firelands. Like, it was nice to see Ragnaros again, but I think they should have left Ragnaros here in Molten Core, the king of Molten Core, the final boss of Molten Core. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that was a enjoyable little look. And for you, if you have World of Warcraft installed and you have your subscription running and you have a character capable of coming into Molten Core, come and run through Molten Core for yourself once or twice. You know, just for fun. Just for nostalgia, especially if you raided this place back in Vanilla. And if nothing else, if you plan to do raiding in Classic, walking through the place might give you an idea of, like, you know, where you're supposed to go so you don't get lost the first time you get into Molten Core. So, thank you very much for watching.